Bob, when one thinks of sailplanes, we think of something serene, quiet, gentle. Jet? Sailplanes? Come on, what were you thinking?
You know, I think this all started with a bar napkin one night, but I don't really remember. But
the bar anyway.
Yeah. But really, when I first started out in this business, one of the biggest problems I had was arranging for a tow plane and tow pilot around the country. And so I actually bought my own tow plane for a while, built a trailer that carried both aircraft. And for about 5 years, I went around the country with the glider and the tow plane. The jet was just sort of a natural offshoot of that. And aside from being a really neat show and a really fun plane to fly, it's become a very convenient thing for the show producer. No tow planes, no tow pilots, and you know, and a much cleaner show.
What has strapping a jet done to your act as a sailplane aerobatic pilot?
Well, for one thing, I'm now a ground start. I can take off in this plane, and I can pull vertical at the end of the runway, and within about a minute, I have the altitude I need to pull the engine to idle and do a glider show for about 3 minutes. At the bottom of that, I add the throttle and become a real low-level jet performance.
Cirrus Design's Vision SJ50 single-engine personal jet offers exceptional fuel efficiency, flexible seating for up to 7, advanced avionics, and all the Cirrus safety features you expect, including the Cirrus airframe parachute system. With its detailed design, the Cirrus Vision is technologically advanced, yet engineered to be simple to fly, to allow owner pilots more lifestyle pursuits than any other personal aircraft. Learn more about the Vision SJ50 at cirrusdesign.com.
Now, this is not your first iteration of a jet sailplane. You've been working on this for a while.
Actually, this is my second jet sailplane. The first one had 2 model airplane engines that were only about 5 pounds apiece, and they made a total of 90 pounds of thrust. This engine is a real military offshoot engine built by the factory from an original APU engine, and this makes 225 pounds of thrust. So this gives this airplane a lot of performance.
Describe your standard performance profile.
Well, as I said earlier, I will take off at the end of the runway. I can pull vertical, climb to about 1,500 feet, pull the engine to idle, light the smoke, do a fairly serene act with the engine quiet, and then at the bottom, add the throttle, light the second set of smoke canisters, and do a real, no kidding, on the deck, low-level aerobatic show. And we also have a night show.
I'll be darned. What gave you this idea, though?
I'm not sure exactly. You know, most of my crazy ideas, I can trace them back to when I saw two things and decided that they might fit well together. I don't remember exactly where the jet idea came from, except that the model airplane jets had started to become of age to the point that it looked like something like that might work. Mm-hmm. This engine, someone actually just sent me an email and said, hey, have you seen this engine? I called the company in the Czech Republic. They had heard of me, and they said, hey, we'd like to work with you. And that was about a year ago, and it's already flying air shows.
Well, it's a very clean-looking installation. Is there much of a drag profile with that hanging out there?
You know, I've had the engine shut down a couple of times in flight, and I can tell the drag's there, but it's not real bad.
Tell us a little bit about the airframe that you're utilizing.
This airframe is called a Salto, which is Latin for flip. It comes from Germany. Was actually designed many years ago in the 70s and not put into production until the mid-80s. And this is a fully aerobatic, fairly high speed for a glider. It'll do 175 miles an hour. And it's just a very good, solid aerobatic ship. With the engine on it, I've had to reduce the G loading a little bit, but it's still a plus 5.5, minus 3.5 G airplane.
You've heard of this thing called WHOOSH, right? The Wide Area Augmentation System lets you fly GPS glide path approaches without relying on ground-based landing aids. No VOR, no ILS, no problem. Fact is, WHOOSH is so smart, it even knows what you're going to say next time you need it. And don't have it on board. Wah! I want my WHOOSH now! I was really crying there for a second.
Well, I have to tell you, it's certainly one of the most unique aircraft on the floor here. And let's face it, they're a fairly interesting and eclectic group of aircraft to begin with.
You know, I had one of the other performers likened this to Jimmy Franklin's Jet Waco, and I think that's about the biggest compliment anyone could have possibly given me.
How do you find the industry responding to this kind of act? We're in an industry where for a long time there were too many biplanes, too many extras, too many this, too many that. There certainly aren't too many jet sailplanes.
Well, you know, even just a standard sailplane, when I started in this 15 years ago, there were 6 of us, and now it's basically down to 2. But I'm finding that there's a lot of, I'm getting a lot of interest in this just because it is unique, and we are looking for something besides the standard flip-flopper.
What's the future of this particular airframe? Where do you go from here?
Over the next couple of years, I think I'll be working on putting this engine on a very small single-seat go-fast airplane. A lot like Jim Beattie tried to do 40 years ago with the BD-5 and was just kind of ahead of his time. But I think the time has come to have a small airplane like that with a really good engine like this. And I don't care what the radio guys say, this is a real round engine.
Bob, we wish you the best of luck.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you.